How to survive in Korea. Cafes. Step 1. Find a seat. Before ordering, find a seat. Laptop, ID, smartphone, jacket, whatever that can mark your territory. But no bites. It's a little too big. Step 2. Pick up. We do not ask or call your name. We call out, B69번 고객님. The buzzer will vibrate when your order is ready at the counter. Wait, got your straw? Keep the top of the wrapper on. Doing this is more hygienic. Step 3. Cafe etiquette. If you need to use your laptop, find a seat next to a socket. No extra charge for using electricity. But if you're staying over 3 hours, how about ordering another drink or dessert? Step 4. Last bite standing. There's a mysterious custom in Korea. The last bite standing. When there's about 1 bite left of that cake, nobody will go for it. You might be tempted, but don't be hasty. Right before you get up, take the last piece, saying that you simply can't waste food, or just leave it. It will save a few calories. Did you survive at the cafe? Did someone behind the counter catch your eye? Go for the same drink every single day.
오늘도 아이스 말차 라떼 드실 거죠?
You might make an impression.
Millennial and Gen Zs are reshaping the world. News generation shares their fresh perspective on what's trending now. From global developments to everyday culture, we're diving into the stories that matter. This is News Generation. Drawing more fans from all over the world. Local consumer prices continue to hover at the 2% success rate in April.
Turning to robots to allow the visually impaired the chance to better indulge in cultural experiences. Like the number of hybrid cars are registered in South Korea has surpassed 2 million with its locally developed Yuri rocket.
Arirang.
Introducing Korean broadcast content that you won't be able to stop watching. For weary modern souls, Dr. Romantic, the quirky genius doctor of Puldam Hospital, prescribes heartwarming tales of humanity. A couple together for 7 years sees their rose-tinted glasses shatter. Can they keep their relationship alive? Discover the raw stories of youth, work, and love. Beyond what social media can show, experience the vibrant Korea through its hidden gems. Mama, the ultimate K-pop festival for global fans. Find your star in a feast of trendy music and electrifying performances. Now, the whole world enjoys it together.
U.S. President Donald Trump says Washington will launch an effort to guide stranded ships through the Strait of Hormuz, starting Monday. This comes amid strained diplomatic efforts, as Iran confirmed it has received a U.S. response to its 14-point peace proposal, after Trump called the plan unacceptable. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz sought to downplay tensions with Washington, saying the United States remains a key ally of Germany. His comments follow recent tensions with President Donald Trump over the Iran conflict and troop cuts. Korean stocks continue to rally as the country's benchmark KOSPI reached a new all-time intraday high this morning. SK hynix also broke its own record high, jumping more than 5%. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's launching Project Freedom on Monday to escort stranded commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts remain deadlocked as both sides stand at odds over Tehran's 14-point peace proposal. Our Kim Do-yeon starts us off.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that a U.S.-led operation to escort commercial ships out of the Strait of Hormuz will begin Monday morning Middle East time through what the U.S. is calling Project Freedom. President Trump described the stranded vessels as merely neutral and innocent bystanders, framing the operation as a humanitarian gesture for crews running low on supplies. He said if in any way this humanitarian process is interfered with, that interference will unfortunately have to be dealt with forcefully. The operation challenges Iran's strict limits on maritime traffic enforced since the start of Operation Epic Fury. Ahead of Trump's post, Iranian officials were advancing legislation to formalize their control over the waterway.
Under the law that will be adopted, vessels belonging to the Zionist regime will under no circumstances be allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Hostile countries headed by the United States will also not have the right of passage.
Amid the standoff at sea, diplomatic efforts remain strained. Iran's foreign ministry confirmed it received Washington's response to its 14-point peace proposal via Pakistan and will announce its official stance soon. The proposal demands the withdrawal of U.S. forces from near Iranian borders and an end to the U.S. naval blockade within 30 days, while explicitly ruling out nuclear negotiations. President Trump, however, has signaled he will reject the terms. Trump told Israeli media the proposal is unacceptable, writing in a separate post that he cannot imagine accepting the plan, as Tehran has not yet paid a big enough price for what they have done over the last 47 years. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz reaffirmed the United States as a key ally of Germany despite tensions with President Donald Trump over troop cuts and the Iran conflict. Meanwhile, leaders have gathered in Armenia for the 8th European Political Community Summit, where U.S.-Iran tensions and regional security dominate the agenda. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has sought to play down rising tensions with the United States, emphasizing that Washington remains central to the NATO alliance despite recent disagreements with President Donald Trump. Speaking in a televised interview with public broadcaster ARD on Sunday, Merz described the U.S. as Germany's most important ally, acknowledging that policy differences are inevitable, but insisting they do not undermine the strength of the transatlantic partnership.
I have to accept that the American president holds a different view on these issues than we do, but that does not alter the fact that I remain convinced the Americans are important partners for us, the most important ones in the North Atlantic Alliance.
His remarks follow Washington's announcement of a troop drawdown in Germany, a move Merz downplayed as neither new nor a major concern. Despite ongoing disagreements over the Iran conflict, he reaffirmed his commitment to continued cooperation with Trump and pledged not to abandon efforts to maintain strong transatlantic ties. The comments come amid a sharp deterioration in relations between the two countries. Trump reacted angrily to Merz's earlier criticism of U.S. strategy in the Iran war. responding with plans to reduce U.S. troop levels in Germany and impose higher tariffs on European Union automobile imports. Meanwhile, global attention is shifting to Yerevan, where world leaders have begun arriving ahead of the 8th summit of the European political community. Held under the theme Building the Future, Unity and Stability in Europe, the meeting brings together leaders from nearly 50 countries, including all 27 European Union member states, at a time of significant geopolitical uncertainty. Key agenda items are expected to include the reduction of U.S. troops in Germany and the broader economic impact of the prolonged U.S.-Iran conflict. Launched in October 2022 following the outbreak of the Ukraine war, the EPC, often described as an EU plus Alpha forum, aims to strengthen political dialogue and cooperation across the European continent with participation at times from 44 countries. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
And as conflict in the Middle East continues, a leading expert in Seoul says Korea needs to look beyond energy interests and form more strategic ties with Gulf countries for long-term security cooperation. Our Oh Soo-young sat down with him.
Korea should expand security cooperation with Gulf nations through middle power partnerships amid growing global uncertainty. That is the view of Choi Chang-un, a former presidential security trainer in the United Arab Emirates, who authored UAE from Desert to Mars and Sense of Security. He says the ongoing Middle East situation is fundamentally changing the region's security dynamics.
First, it has clearly shown that the Strait of Hormuz proved to be a vital choke point for the global economy. Second, by directly striking GCC nations, Iran has in fact drawn them into the conflict. Third, this war has demonstrated who stands as a friend and who stands as adversary. Taken together, these developments have made the regional security environment even more complex.
The shift is already being felt across the Gulf. Countries like the UAE, Saudi Arabia and Qatar have moved to strengthen air defense systems and diversify their security relations. Korea has already built one of its deepest partnerships in the region with the UAE, signing a $20 billion deal to build a Baraka nuclear power plant and exporting the Cheonggung air defense system to the Gulf country.
As this war has shown, South Korea and the UAE are highly complementary partners, each able to offset the other's weaknesses. This may also be the moment to develop Korea-UAE relations further into what might be described as a cognitive alliance.
At the same time, the crisis has brought into focus a longer-term concern over U.S. security commitment. Washington remains engaged, but increasingly stretched from Europe to the Middle East to the Indo-Pacific.
Of course, there are inevitably concerns about US commitment to its allies. In that context, how does that really reshape the strategic considerations for countries like South Korea and the UAE?
GCC countries require a robust air defense system to protect their own infrastructure. This war has shown, under real combat conditions, the quality and effectiveness of Korean weapon systems. Looking ahead, I also believe that the cooperation in artificial intelligence, built on South Korea's strength in semiconductor manufacturing, could make a meaningful contribution to Korea-GCC partners over the next 100 years.
In a more fragmented security environment, Che says those partnerships are no longer secondary. He says Seoul must now move beyond energy ties and take on a larger strategic role in the Gulf region. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
North Korea has condemned Japan's push to revise its 3 key security documents, calling it an open challenge to international peace. In a 노동신문 article published on Monday, Pyongyang accused Tokyo of trying to become what it called a war state and a war merchant. The paper took aim at Japan's plans to boost defense spending, ease restrictions on arms exports, and expand offensive military capabilities. Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's government is seeking to revise Japan's national security strategy, national defense strategy, and defense build-up program within this year, citing growing regional security challenges, including China's expanding activity in the Pacific. North Korea warned the move threatens regional security more than 80 years after the end of the Pacific War. Saudi Arabia and Russia, along with 5 other OPEC Plus producers, have agreed to increase oil output quotas in a move aimed at reinforcing market stability. The countries will raise production by 188,000 barrels per day in June, citing a collective commitment to stabilizing global oil markets amid price pressure from the Middle East conflict. The decision was reached during an online meeting of key producers on Sunday, in their first meeting since the United Arab Emirates left the group. The group also emphasized a cautious and flexible approach moving forward, with plans to review market conditions and production compliance on a monthly basis, starting next month. Global investment banks have sharply upgraded their economic growth and inflation forecasts for South Korea following its surprise economic rebound. According to a Bloomberg compilation released on Monday, the average growth outlook calculations from 42 major institutions now stands at 2.1%, up 0.1 percentage point from last month. At the end of April, Capital Economics raised its projection by more than 1 percentage point to 2.7%, while JP Morgan Chase increased its forecast to 3%. This follows the Bank of Korea reporting first quarter GDP growth of 1.7%, the highest in over 5 years, driven by robust semiconductor exports. However, inflation concerns are mounting, with Bloomberg data on Monday showing the average consumer inflation forecast rising to 2.5%. Korea's benchmark KOSPI reached a new all-time intraday high this morning, while SK hynix also broke its own record high. Earlier in the morning, the KOSPI opened at 6,782.93, surpassing its previous intraday record. As of 11:20 a.m., the index was even higher at 6,861.71. The local market was lifted by positive investor sentiment following a rally on Wall Street at the end of last week. The S&P 500 closed at a record high for 2 consecutive days, and the Nasdaq broke the 25,000 mark at closing for the first time in history. Top-cap tech shares drove the KOSPI's gains on Monday morning, with SK hynix jumping nearly 10%, breaking 1.4 million won for the first time. Amid growing energy security concerns, renewable energy, especially solar, is back in the spotlight. Against this backdrop, Korea's largest solar energy expo was held in Daegu. Our Kim Seong has more.
This solar panel, roughly 30 centimeters across, represents a significant scientific growth. It delivers a more than 10 percentage point boost in efficiency compared to conventional models. Still in the research phase, the technology is expected to mark a turning point, making panels smaller while increasing power output once commercialized.
Unlike conventional silicon solar cells, it uses multiple light-absorbing layers instead of just one, allowing for higher output. Greater output means more energy generated.
The 23rd International Green Energy Expo was held in Daegu, drawing 327 companies from 28 countries. Participants showcased cutting-edge technologies with a strong focus on agrivoltaics, the practice of using the same land for both solar energy and agriculture. A dedicated pavilion highlighted systems designed to balance crop growth and electricity production, drawing attention from both industry players and visitors. Companies that had expanded overseas due to fewer regulations also took part, aligning with anticipated policy shift in Korea.
In this pavilion, you can check out the system that adjusts sunlight based on crop conditions to optimize both farming and solar generation. With upcoming revisions to farmland regulations, interest is growing in Korea.
As instability in the Middle East has deepened concerns over energy supplies, the solar power industry is drawing renewed attention. Kim Seong, Arirang News.
A city in Gangwon-do Province, which once faced the threat of extinction due to population decline and industrial stagnation, is finding a new path through urban regeneration. Our Cha Yoon-kyung tells us more.
Standing 59 meters high with a sweeping view of the sea, this is Dochebigol Sky Valley in Donghae City. Blue waves roll beneath the transparent glass floor. What was once deserted, Gloomy Valley has been reborn as a popular photo spot, drawing Gen Z and millennials from across the country. Since its opening in 2021, the number of cumulative visitors has surpassed 2 million.
This place is trendy on social media right now, so I came to take pictures. I love that it's right in front of the ocean.
An abandoned mine, where limestone was extracted for nearly 50 years, has been transformed into a tourist attraction featuring a jade green lake, attracting hundreds of thousands of visitors annually. The Donghodong area, once a hub for printing and publishing, has been reborn as a seaside bookstore village. With the opening of the Pencil Museum and various book cafes, vitality is returning to the once fading downtown area. Nearby commercial districts are also seeing a revival.
The number of customers has definitely increased by more than 50%.
Living conditions in the underdeveloped Old Town have also significantly improved. Old vacant houses, for instance, have been renovated into one-month stay residences. Witnessing this success, officials from other regions facing similar threats of extinction are visiting to learn from Donghae's sample. Since its population dipped below 100,000 in 2005 and fell further to around 80,000, all eyes are now on whether Donghae's urban regeneration can go beyond a temporary boom to become a permanent solution for attracting new residents. 차윤경, Arirang News.
This is The World Now, bringing you everything you need to know from around the globe. 3 people have died and at least 3 others have fallen ill after a Hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship sailing in the Atlantic Ocean. The World Health Organization said on Sunday that at least 1 case has been confirmed by laboratory tests. 1 patient is in intensive care in a South African hospital. Hantavirus has no specific treatment or cure. It spreads through contact with infected rodent droppings and can lead to severe respiratory illness. Israel has committed to a major deal to buy 2 new squadrons of advanced fighter jets from American defense contractors Lockheed Martin and Boeing. The $119 billion acquisition approved on Sunday covers a 4th F-35 squadron and a second batch of F-15IA jets. Officials said the 2-month conflict with Iran made it clear that maintaining a technological edge in the air was not optional. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, quote, "Israel is stronger than ever, and Israel must always be stronger than our enemies." In the U.S., Spirit Airlines shut down all operations on Saturday. It becomes the first airline to collapse as a direct consequence of the Iran war after jet fuel costs doubled in 2 months. Spirit had planned around fuel costs of around $2.20 a gallon, but by the end of April, those costs had reached $4.50, making survival without fresh financing impossible. The Trump administration offered $500 million to keep the carrier alive in exchange for a 90% equity stake, but creditors rejected the deal. Spirit accounted for roughly 5% of all U.S. domestic flights at its peak. All flights have been canceled, with most customers refunded on Saturday. In India, a temple elephant broke free of its chains on Friday and went on a 2-hour rampage, killing 1 man, injuring others, and flipping a car using its tusks. The victim had driven the elephant to the Kidanguru Mahabhishnu temple in the southern Indian state of Kerala for a religious celebration. He was trampled after stopping to photograph an injury on the animal's tusk. The elephant remained beside his body for an extended period, preventing anyone from approaching. Police, wildlife officials, and an elephant squad eventually subdued the animal with tranquilizer darts. Chu Ji-han, Arirang News.
brings a return to the pleasant spring weather after yesterday's cloudy and chilly conditions. Children's Day tomorrow will also bring clear skies and even warmer weather, but mornings continue to stay chilly. So don't forget to take the weather into account and do dress accordingly. Many are coming down with a cold nowadays. Meanwhile, plenty of sunshine today will boost UV levels to high to very high levels, and those in the southern provinces especially should not forget the sunblock and sunglasses. And afternoon highs will be nearly 5 degrees higher than yesterday. Seoul and Daegu will be getting up to 20 degrees Celsius. Jeju at 17 degrees. Air quality will be normal to good nationwide all day today. Through the rest of the week, skies will stay mostly clear under high pressure with continued large temperature differences between morning and afternoon. Overall, we are expecting some fine weather to spend some time outdoors.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.
어렸을 때부터 어머니가 미술학원을 운영을 하셨어요. 그래서 거기 가서 놀고 하다 보니까 자연스럽게 미술을 접하게 됐고, 저는 그리고 만드는 것 중에 만드는 게 더 재밌었어요. 그래서 이제 도요카 입학해서 다양한 재료들을 경험을 해봤지만 그 중에서도 물레성형 기법에 굉장히 매료가 됐고, 이 기법을 평생 하면서 하면 행복하겠다는 생각이 들어서 도자기를